Let's get started. Today, I told you that this week we would work on ATCs. We kind of talked a little bit about them last week. I talked about the kit that Brutus Monroe offers. It's a new kit that they've just started to offer, and they do offer it as a monthly subscription, or you can purchase it solo. And I received some really fun things that I thought would be fun to play with, but then I really just haven't done a lot of ATCs. So I was curious, and I decided I wanted to know more about them, and I thought maybe I couldn't be the only one that doesn't know too much about ATCs. I'm sure there's lots of people who haven't played with them. So I thought, you know, this is kind of a beginner's guide to ATCs, and I include myself in the beginners. So let me just move some things around really quick, and then we'll go ahead and we will get started. All right, I think we've got that in place. I'm just waiting to see the camera view to make sure that it's changed everything for us. Okay, so a typical A2 size is 2.5 by 3.5. And that is one thing that is supposed to stay somewhat firm. And that one fun thing about that is about the size of a baseball card. So a lot of people who do ATCs will do swaps. And so the way they even started out is the artists would do they would create these ATCs where they could just give a little sample of their art, and then people traded them, and it just grew from there. There's a whole community of people who just really love ATCs. So one nice thing is they do fit into the baseball card page protectors. So this is kind of fun. I actually borrowed this from my son. Benji collects Pokemon cards, and he was kind enough to let me have a couple of these. So we are going to go from there.
Hi.
Tell me who?
Tara.
Tara? Hi, Tara. Darren said he will talk loud for me today. All right. So Brutus Monroe offers a package of the base card, the ATC cards. And that came in my kit. I do think there's a few of these kits left. Darren will provide a link for that. But then also, like I said, it is a monthly subscription you can sign up for. I don't know what's in next month's kit, but I heard that it's really going to be a fun one, and I don't doubt it.
B
says
hi.
Hi, B. All right, so we're going to start off. I did some of the work ahead of time because I wanted to show you several different things, because they are so versatile. There's so much you can do with them. So I tend to be one of those people who likes to matte everything. Every now and then I will show you at the end some that I didn't matte, but for these ones I went ahead and I'm going to do them with a matte. So this is our base. We're going to just set that aside because we're going to create the first part of it. One thing I also want to point out about ATCs is, for me, like, you know, they would be fun to swap. I haven't ever done an ATC swap, but
Karen says hi.
Hi, Karen. But I do think that sounds like a lot of fun, and especially, you know, you're not out so many supplies. If you haven't done a swap before, that would be a good one to start with, especially if you're just starting with crafting. Another thing I think is fun that you can do with ATCs is you can try out a new technique. You know, try something you haven't tried before. You're only out a little piece of paper really most of the time, you know? So it's a good place to not have to be so committed. You have just a little piece of paper that you're working with. So I'm just going to use this cute fireworks stencil. And this was also in the kit, but it is something you can purchase on its own. And like I said, Darren is providing links. And for this guy, I think let's use some Aqua Pigments on him. And I'm just going to use little dauber thing. And we will let's start out with blue. This is blue Aqua Pigment. I'm sure if you've seen any of my videos, you are guaranteed that you've seen me use this. And this is just a water-based Pigment. It's the most versatile product ever. I adore it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get some of that. Probably don't even need that much, but we're gonna just get a little bit of that on there. And if you've ever used these little daubers, they work best if you kind of start off of the page. Then you don't get so many harsh lines. I'm gonna try to avoid that. But I like the size of these for some things, you know? Sometimes you just want something a little smaller. And I'm avoiding the star areas because I do want to come back in with another color over the stars. It's okay if I get it on there because this isn't going to be super precise anyway.
Helen says hi.
Hi, Helen. Thanks for watching.
Tara loves the Aqua Pigment.
I do too. It is really, just like I said, it is so versatile. It's a great investment if you just, you know, if you're on a budget. I am definitely on a budget, though I blow it on my crafts mostly. That's where my fun stuff is. But anyway, we'll just kind of go lightly, kind of random on there. We're gonna add to this. One thing about today's stuff is that for the most part, everything's gonna be really loose. Nothing's gonna be super precise because, you know, that's kind of the nature of what we're doing. Oh, I like that kind of stuff because it is usually pretty forgiving. So now we'll use some of the red. I will show you several different styles though, because whatever style is your favorite style, you can do ATCs that way. Most of the ATCs I've seen are usually done by people who are big into mixed media, which again, especially if you're interested in mixed media and you haven't done a lot of it, ATCs are a great way to venture into it. Try out some techniques. Try them on for size, see what you think of them. And then if you don't like them, mixed media is fun because most of the time you can salvage a lot of things. You can get away with an awful lot because it's so layer heavy. I'm sure there are instances where you finally get to the point where you can't, but for the most part, like I said, I think it's pretty forgiving. I want this just to be a little bit deeper of a red. So I am originally from Utah, and this week is Pioneer Day, July 24th. So July 4th and July 24th were always huge celebrations. Makes me just a little homesick, but I thought, you know, I'm just gonna get a couple more patriotic things out. All right. This isn't quite as red as I could keep going, but let's move on because I want to do some more fun things, and so I don't want to spend too much time on one thing. So now I'm just going to do, okay, so I just got this Aqua Pigment the other day, and Darren, if you can find it, great. I didn't give him a heads up on this, so it may not show up, but this is Gold Frost, and it is so pretty. We are just going to use that just around where the stars are. So we'll put that right there. It's just a really pretty shimmery, kind of pearly color. Does anyone have any questions or comments so far? I guess I can ask you that after you're done looking for the pearl. I mean the gold. What was that?
Gold Frost Pearl.
It's Gold Frost, but I was just saying it kind of has a pearl look to it. Sorry, don't mean to mess it up.
Amanda says hello.
Hi, Amanda. Oh, I forgot to put washi on that little corner. That's okay. So we will see if this shows up. It may not show up. I got this out because I love it, but it wasn't actually the card I meant to use it on. so forgive me. You gotta love lives. I will almost always do something crazy like that. My brain just gets a little nervous and a little in a hurry, and we're gonna use some silver. So this is called sterling. It might, I'm hoping it has just a little bit more pigment to it.
Mention YouTube.
I did do that.
Okay.
That's okay. Darren was just mentioning to mention YouTube. If you weren't here at the very beginning, I was just explaining that I am uploading these videos now onto YouTube. So if you ever want to refer back to them, and if you haven't subscribed, I would love more subscribers. It's Crafty Shenanigans. All right, let's see what we came up with here.
Heather's Topman's on.
Hi, Heather. Okay, look how pretty that is. So that is our fireworks stencil. I love how that looks. So we'll just go ahead, and you could do so much more on this, but we're gonna keep it somewhat simple because, like I said, there's a lot of things I wanna show you today. So we're gonna move fairly quickly through what we've got here. So I'm just gonna adhere that. You know, I may not even do that. We'll see. Well, yeah, I will. I'll just be quick. Okay, so we're just gonna stick that to our card. How many of you that are watching, tell me how many of you have actually done a bunch of ATCs, or any ATCs for that matter? One thing people do with ATCs is they will, I showed you the page protector. There's something called a pocket letter, and people will fill a whole page like that and coordinate it so it looks kind of like a scrapbook page, but it doesn't include photos and stuff. It's mostly like just little embellishments and cute little die cuts and things. And then they even will decorate like this edge. Sometimes they'll dangle things off of it. And then they do swaps where they send them to somebody. And those are pretty cute. But I am kind of practical, so when I look at them, I'm like, oh, they could have made so many cards with that. And that is one of the other things I do want to point out, is that for me, making ATCs, the way I'm most likely to use them.
Helen's asking, what did you use for the fireworks? The pigment inks?
Aqua Pigment, yep.
Karen says she hasn't, but she's done pocket letters before.
Okay, so you basically have. Karen said I don't know if you heard Darren or not, but Karen said she's hasn't done ATCs really, but she's done the pocket letters, and really they are basically the same thing, in my opinion. Well, depending on how you do them. What, Katie is?
Yes.
Hi, Katie. All right, so we've got a couple little guys there, and we'll do one more, maybe. You know, I'm gonna leave it blank. So on these, typically when I make a project, I will put a sentiment on it, but I'm not going to on these because these are such great bases for a card. Not a card base, but a base for a card, if that makes sense. A good starting point.
Matt
So
says she's done a few for swaps.
Okay. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. And they're a great way to use up all your little bits. I have a whole container on my little workspace of just little bits of stuff. And this is a great way to use them up.
Faye said she hasn't done any either style.
Okay. Well, you know what? There's no time like the present. This is really, I think it's kind of addictive. I kind of like how quick and easy they are, and I really like just, I feel kind of free to experiment with them. It just kind of gave I felt like I had more license to do so. This little stamp set, hi Linda. This little stamp set is called Firecrackers, and this also came in the kit, but you can buy this separately. And I think it's so cute, and it's so fun. I think this, if you wanted to, you could just make like a little teardrop, and you could use them for candles. You could use it for New Year's, you can use it for birthdays, but I will show you what I've got going on here. Okay, let's do this one first. Okay, so we've got this little guy, and then I would put a sentiment here, but like I said, I'm waiting just because I haven't decided what occasion I want to use it for, but like, look how cute the Let's Celebrate would be right there. That actually is probably the one I will do when I do it. Okay, so this little guy, this paper was also in the kit, this silver paper. And I must confess that somebody else did this before me. They had a little round piece, and I'm sure they were thinking the same thing. They made it look like a moon. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so cute. So I am totally copying, I believe it was Terry. But yeah, I am totally copying somebody who posted on the Brutus Monroe page.
Gina's watching.
Hi, Gina. Okay, so there's our moon. So simple. Just a little circle. And then I went ahead and I pre-colored one of these little rockets. And we're just going to place this guy. Like he's kind of just up in the sky against the moon. And then these little stars also were in the kit. And I should mention these little sequins are new at Brutus Monroe. They're called Silver Glitter, I believe. Excuse my dog. My dog is protecting our house again. If you saw my dog, you would laugh your head off because he's about... How much does our dog weigh?
4 pounds.
4 pounds. So, he's little. We've got 2 dogs. Our other dog is not so small, but he's small. Okay, so again, right here, I would probably do something, I actually would probably do something like maybe I would put this in a little piece of vellum or something. It just says hi, you probably can't see. But yeah, I would probably put that in another little circle and put hi on there. Something like that. Again, I'm kind of holding off until I'm ready to make them into cards. And I'll just show you about the size. Let's see if I can find it. Hi, Ken. So fun, we get people from all around. Ken is in the UK and Gina is in Canada. So here's a typical card size, I believe. I think this is a typical card size. And then it looks a little bigger. Do I have a ruler? This is 5.5, so yeah, by 4.25. So yeah, that is a typical card base. And then it would be under this, right? So you can see that if you had a bunch of these ATCs made up and you were like in a hurry to hurry and make a card, you're already, most of the hard stuff is done. Okay, so we'll just set that to the side, but yeah, we would adhere that on there. And then this little guy, okay, I want to tell you something really fun. So I showed you, whoops, a few of my lives back, I showed you a bunch of things about foil, and you can look through my YouTube videos once we get them all posted and you'll be able to find the one on foiling. But I showed you mostly heat transferring of the foil, and this right here, this little piece of foil, all I did with that was I used some of this double stick tape, and then I just placed the foil on it. Some foil will work with that and some doesn't, so you need to read it to make sure whether it's only transferred through heat or what. But this one, I was able to just have it come right off. And then we are just going to add another little piece of that paper that came, the one that we used on the moon. And hopefully I'm not jumping around too much. Hopefully you're following me okay. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff I'm trying to cover in a little bit of time, so I'm kind of just being quick. So we're just going to cut the end of that off. We'll just stick that guy down. Let's see, we'll just go ahead and do that on this one. I don't know where my tape runner is right now, but I think that would be quicker when I'm doing this.
Christine says hello.
Hi, Christine. Okay, so let's just use this. And I ordinarily would probably put it in the corners too, but just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna do a quick job on this one. Also, I am going to be doing a blog post on this, so watch for that. And it'll go into more, I'll have more things, more information. Okay, so we're just gonna stick that guy on there. Let's see. Let's just use a square. So I just used a little foam square on that. We're gonna place that guy, let's say right there. And then we're just gonna use a little glue dot for our star. And we'll just stick that on there. So you could do a whole series. You could do a group of 9 and do a pocket page. It's one thing that I think is kind of fun is I think it would be kind of fun to do just kind of take the scraps from whatever cards you're making and just kind of do a few from, especially if you make cards on a regular basis, kind of a fun way to just get a little flavor of what you did. You could have a whole collection of them. Okay, so there are 3 things you can do with that kit alone. And we will just, you know, we'll just set those ones aside and we will grab a different group that might be a little bit different style. So actually, let me show you some more foil. So all of these little scraps and stuff are from when I did the foil one. And I was showing you Brutus Monroe carries cute little card panels that use toner so that you can use them with your foil. And so I actually had a few of those sitting in my pile and I thought, you know what, those would make cute cards. So let me just show you what those would look like. I'm not going to actually create them. This is what the card looked like originally, what size it was and everything. And you can see the foil on there. And so this is the other half, at least part of it, that we did. And I kind of like taking just a piece of it. And then you can add whatever media on the top of that. You can do whatever. You can add embellishments, your sentiments. And again, you know what, there's the start of a card. So let's just set that guy. Oh, and the other thing I did want to say about that. Who did?
Remember to flip your cards upside down.
Oh, yes, I will try to do that. Thank you. Yes, this is the card that we started with. Okay, so when you foil, you can see I foiled this. This was one of those cards. And then I was left with this. And you can see there's a cool pattern and there's still a lot of foil on there. So that is a great way to use up some of your negatives on your foil. Here's another one. You could cut that out, you could stick it on there. So that is another thing you can do on your ATC cards that I think is pretty cool. So let me show you these now. These, last week we did some gel press stuff. And so I had a whole bunch of papers that I got from the pulls that we did on that. And I cut a couple of them down. You can see I used that paper again there. This was just a piece I trimmed off of, I actually have the card here. This is what I'm talking about when I say if you want to just kind of use little bits of your cards. So I made this card last week and this was just what I trimmed off the edge. And rather than check it, you could just put it on your ATC. And then I wanted to show you another fun thing. just kind of a little bit off topic, but just for fun, just because ATCs, like I said, a lot of times have a lot of mixed media going on. And so this was the end of my washi tape, and I decided to just keep that and use it with some ink. And I just used it to create kind of a fun background. So we can do that on our ATC just to get a little more interest on there. And that, like I said, is one of the fun things about ATCs. You can play and experiment and do whatever. And I love that look. I think it's fun. I would add more to these, but I was just showing you that it's a great place to use up your prints when you use a gel press. So I will set that aside and move on to this project. So this came, this cardstock came from the kit, and I just simply used this cute stencil. This is this called Sunshine, Darren?
Which one?
The sun. Might just be called Sun. I'm not sure, but it's a mini.
It's Sunshine.
Mini layering stencil if you're looking for it online. So anyway, I just used that, and I just used my my embossing ink, and then I sprinkled some of the traffic. It's called traffic cone. I sprinkled just with my fingers a little bit of that, and then I used dandelion over that too, and then I went ahead and heated it up and embossed it, and I thought it turned out really fun. You know, it's kind of fun to experiment with embossing powder. That's also what I did here, is I just kind of taped off certain sections. This is all embossing powder, so I just created the stripes by putting on the washi, and that was kind of masking it off a little bit. And then these guys, so I wanted to show you, I may not do these ones either. What time is it? Yeah, okay, so I'll just kind of show you my basic plan for these. So this was from a gnome card I made a long time ago. It was that one that I did with my son, where we made shrink inks, or I guess that's not exactly what I call it, a shrink film. Anyway, this was cut from the side, and I thought that was such a cute, I loved that. So I thought, well, we're just going to use that, and you could put it on this side, you could even put it right here, but anyway, so something like that, and then a sentiment, maybe smile or something cute like that. And then I just embossed some flowers, and that stencil is also listed. This blue is from that same kit. And again, here's a couple more of those pieces of paper. So if I'm trying to do a series, I could just kind of tie them together that way. And then this one, another scrap that I just thought was a fun scrap. And most of the time I'm not that attached to my scraps, but those ones, I don't know, they were just so fun and so happy. So this I think would be cute if just stenciled like half of the rainbow on there and added the strip. I'll show you this direction. So you can see the possibilities are completely endless. You got so many things you can do. And that's why I didn't do more creating while we were sitting here, because there's just so many things. But I will show you my last set. Oh, I did want to show you one thing. If you are a member of the Stamp of the Month Club, this is a great place to use those stamps as well, because they are perfectly sized for this. It's like they were meant for this. You can see these are some of the cute stamps of the month that have come. And look how cute. I mean, they just, like I said, they are the perfect size. Let's see, I'll show you some of these. And oftentimes they are still available after, so you should check that out. Also, I think Darren put a link up to the Stamp of the Month Club. It is the most fabulous deal. It's $5, and that includes the shipping. Can't go wrong. So then these, I will place them on. So this was my mixed media experiment. I've done some, but I am no expert. But I had such a fun play last night. And I created this little series. I had this cool burlap ribbon that I got in an inspiration kit a couple months ago. And I used modeling paste to stick that down. And then I used kind of a combination of different aqua pigments. I just used some of the metallics. I used, and then I actually did the same thing that I did with the outside of the sun. I just sprinkled on with my fingers different kinds of some of the metallic embossing powders. And you can see on these metal pieces, I actually used the penny to just go right on the metal. I used, just so you know, I used a clothespin so that I didn't burn myself on that piece. And just little bits and pieces that I have collected over the years, not even on purpose, they just have kind of accumulated. And it was a fun way to just use up some of those little charms and some of those little bits and pieces. Oh, this one I started with a stencil. I think you can barely see it, but I like that it gave it some texture and some depth. All right, well, I think I've covered everything. Just looking around to make sure there's nothing sitting here that I forgot about. I think we are good. Does anybody have any questions? Are you seeing any questions, Darren?
No.
Well, all right, then I will just flip the camera up for a second. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all your love and support, and I have so much fun hanging out with you. Don't be shy if you ever have anything you want to say. I hope that you'll just go ahead and comment, and I really hope to see you again next week, and I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much. Bye.